Welcome to That's Good Sports. I am Brandon. I have not talked about the Josh McDaniels hiring in Las Vegas for a reason, Perna. I needed to think. Think about how I wanted to roast the Raiders for hiring the closest thing the NFL has to a terrorist. Yes, as a Broncos fan, I'm still bitter about how Josh McDaniels single-handedly did a near-perfect job to tear down my football team. Personally, I'm betting he will fail again, but I also will admit my fear is that he might get it right on his third time and give Derek Carr an offensive coaching advantage like he's never had before. Was Josh McDaniels actually a good hire, or will the Raiders continue to wallow in mediocrity? Today we'll talk about it. That's good sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and a reminder, later today I'll be doing my Alzheimer's charity stream, which if we reach $20,000 in donations, I will be shaving a monkey tail beard onto my face. I will look like one of these idiots if we raise $20,000 for the Alzheimer's Association. And my company, Benchwarmer Brew, BenchwarmerBrew.com, for everyone who donates at least $5, we will send you a $5 gift card for Benchwarmer Brew. So, you give $5, you get $5 to use on my coffee if you want. Not a bad deal, and it's for a great cause. Again, later today, during the Pro Bowl live stream charity. Alright, I'm gonna try to be fair to old McDaniels. Will Josh McDaniels ruin the Raiders? Well, Josh McDaniels said it was going to take a special place for him to leave New England. And I'd say he found the most special place on earth.
Oh, but I'm special.
Now, the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels as their next head coach, and all he had to do to get the job was admit the most painful play in Raiders history, the tuck rule by one Tom Brady in the 2001 playoffs, was indeed a fumble. Only the Raiders could beat a guy 59-14 and then say, that's our head coach. That was from when Josh McDaniels was the Broncos head coach. That's how bad Josh McDaniels was in Denver during his stint here. He let the Raiders put 59 on him. Obviously, McDaniels was the offensive coordinator in New England during the Patriots' near undefeated season and their 11-5 Matt Castle season, helping him get the Broncos job in 2009 after Mike Shanahan was let go. McDaniels immediately endeared himself to Broncos fans by trying to trade for Matt Castle, pissing off Jay Cutler, not getting Castle, and then trading Jay Cutler for Kyle Orton. This was before he even coached a single game, of course. Now, McDaniels started his career in Denver with a 6-0 record, and then proceeded to finish it going 5 of 17, finally getting fired 12 games into the 2010 season when it came out that he cheated against the 49ers, a game the Broncos still lost. He also traded away who was at the time a promising young tight end in Tony Scheffler and wide receiver Brandon Marshall. He was the equivalent of the guy who thinks he's so rich he wipes his ass with money and then wonders why his toilet gets clogged. Maybe. After an unsuccessful season in St. Louis as the Rams offensive coordinator, McDaniels weaseled his way back to New England, where he spent the last decade as Bill Belichick's lapdog. McDaniels nearly became the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts in 2018. Well, he accepted the job, but left Indy at the altar the same day they announced the hiring. McDaniels' agent was so pissed at the time, he dropped him as a client, saying that McDaniels was committing professional suicide. It turns out the Colts' backup plan was Eagles OC Frank Reich, so they can thank McDaniels for slithering out of that job. What I don't understand is why McDaniels went back to New England when the Colts offered him that job, because at the time we thought Bill Belichick got him to come back to be the heir apparent of the head coaching gig for the evil empire. That Belichick would be retiring by a certain time and McDaniels would take his place. 3 years later, Bill Belichick seems hell-bent on proving he can win without Tom Brady, and McDaniels signed up to coach the only team that seemed interested in him, the Raiders. So basically, until this current football season, you could argue Josh McDaniels never succeeded without Tom Brady. Now, of course, the Raiders have no problem giving Josh McDaniels the key to their organization, somehow managing to find an even bigger dickhead than John Gruden. In terms of actual dick size, I'm assuming it's the same bit of underwhelming. Now, I'm sure after the Raiders miss the playoffs this year, they'll do a complete audit on Josh McDaniels' emails, only to find out that he's trying to lure Jay Cutler out of retirement so he can trade him again. Now, the Raiders had a guy who I thought did a great job in Rich Bisaccia. He was one of the better stories from the NFL season. He led the Raiders to their second playoff appearance since 2002, navigating them through the Gruden scandal, the Ruggs car crash that killed a woman and her dog, the release of Damon Arnett, and most tragically, Derek Carr's decision to stop wearing eyeliner. Bisaccia wrote handwritten thank you notes to every player, and Las Vegas said, no thank you, we'll take the serial cheater who cut his players by ghosting them. Bisaccia still doesn't have a job, by the way. Now, for Raiders fans, and to be fair, I have to wonder if the third time's the charm. You can say that Josh McDaniels has had over a decade in between head coaching gigs. But to say that, you have to forget that he was technically the Colts head coach for a couple hours. But just because time has passed doesn't mean that someone has matured or become a better coach. I choose to believe the worst in people. That's how I protect myself from getting hurt. And Mark Davis should do the same. But he feels like an owner living in the past and looks like an owner living in a trailer park. I will say Josh McDaniels' best work may have actually been this season with Mac Jones. I was genuinely curious to see how Jones would progress in a second season with Josh McDaniels calling the plays. But McDaniels gets an instant upgrade in Derek Carr. Not to say that Mac Jones won't eventually be as good, if not better than Carr, but right now, Josh can come in and do whatever he wants with a veteran QB who, in my opinion, was playing his best football with Gruden calling the plays. Something Josh McDaniels may be better at doing. Josh McDaniels will be the fourth former Broncos coach the Raiders hired to be their head coach. And even when you get the right guy, like you probably had with Jack Del Rio, you fire him for retreads like Gruden. Dennis Allen didn't work, and neither did Shanahan the first time. It only works when the Broncos hire your old coaches. Now, the biggest sign you may have made the wrong hire is that you landed the coach nobody else wanted to interview. That said, I do fear Josh McDaniels could very well become what Shanahan eventually was to the Raiders, the guy who works extra hard to kick the Broncos' ass every time they play because of their checkered past. A reason outside of having Derek Carr that Josh McDaniels may succeed is because of the guys that are coming with him to Las Vegas. Most seem to be very high on Dave Ziegler, who is the new Raiders GM. He was with New England for the last 9 years, and he helped lure Patrick Graham out of New York to be their defensive coordinator. That was the big get. The one thing you could argue that was working for the Giants was their defense, and Patrick Graham was the man running that unit, in addition to being an assistant head coach for Joe Judge. So you could also argue he failed tremendously at assisting Judge, and now he's got another Patriot seedling to work with. To put it as simply as possible, I believe Graham is an upgrade for their defense. We know there's a lot of talent sprinkled across the Raiders, and assuming there's no self-detonation by McDaniels, the Raiders have arguably better coaches on both sides of the ball. And now that Gruden and Mayock are gone, I bet they do the draft and free agency better, specifically early draft picks, and that could be key to putting the Raiders over the hump. All of these Belichick disciples, though, they think they can come in and treat everyone like shit because that's probably how Bill does it. But nobody questions Bill because of his past success. They almost all fail for that very reason. The question again is, did Josh McDaniels learn his lesson? Is he a changed man? Or will being a power-hungry douche who wants to belittle people and get them to perform out of fear rise to the surface when things get tough?
You know, when I went to Denver, you know, I knew a little bit of football. I didn't really know people and how important that aspect of this process and maintaining the culture and building the team was. And I failed, and I didn't succeed at it. And so looking at that experience has been one of the best things in my life in terms of my overall growth as a person, as a coach. What do I need to do different? How do I need to handle my role if I have another opportunity and do better at it? And I feel like that's really an area that I've tried to grow in with our staff in New England. You know, our offensive staff working together, collaborating, supporting one another, impacting them, serving them, helping them grow as coaches, as players, with our guys, you know, that we're coaching. So that's the biggest. I would say that's the biggest area for me, and I know how important it is as a head coach to be able to do that.
So according to Josh, he's changed. If I play that clip though like this,
you know, when I went to Denver, looking at that experience has been one of the best things in my life.
It sounds like he took pleasure in destroying the Broncos. And for that, I hope he fails miserably again. I do think it's hilarious, though, that for McDaniels to succeed with the Raiders, he should probably carry himself like the guy Mark Davis just let go in Rich Bisaccia. McDaniels is a big gamble, which is fitting for the team that hails from Las Vegas. They are going all in for McDaniels, and it will either pay off or Mark Davis will end up blowing the pit boss in the janitor's closet of the Bellagio to cover his gambling debt from playing craps all night. I should note that the Raiders players have been less than thrilled about Mark Davis's decision to hire McDaniels over keeping Rich Bisaccia. According to The Athletic, Raiders players were disappointed to hear the news after they had made a serious push for interim coach Rich Bisaccia and his staff, the article said. The players themselves probably thought the curse was over after they had overcome a series of off-field incidents and won 4 straight games down the stretch to make the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. And I think the players have a point there. But do good owners listen to the players? I don't know. But maybe Davis thought Bisaccia had peaked and that his success came because he had no choice but to galvanize the team. McDaniels just feels like the wrong hire. I'm of course biased, which is why he'll probably be great. My feelings are always wrong. I really hope he's bad, the same way I hope Patrick Mahomes decides to just play baseball again, or the way I hope Brandon Staley, so hell-bent on analytics, plays all of next season without a kicker on the roster. But if that Athletic article is accurate, McDaniels will have to do something he's never done before. Get players to like him. That will be the key. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Don't forget we're doing the charity stream later today during the Pro Bowl. Unless, of course, you watch this video after the Pro Bowl. But come stop by, hang out. I'll have some guests. We're just going to shoot the crap, talk football, talk about the game, and raise some money for a great cause.